No, he did not. Mr. Carnegie died in 1919 before I had even translated this into a writing, before I'd written the first books on it. But he had checked with me and double-checked on 15 of the 17 principles. There are two people that I always regretted didn't live to see me in the day of my triumph after having seen me in the days of my discouragement and opposition. Those were my stepmother and my sponsor, Andrew Carnegie. It would have been a great joy to me and quite enough compensation for a lifetime of effort if I could have displayed to those two wonderful people the results of their handiwork in manipulating me and directing me at the time when I needed direction. No, I'm not so sure that they're not standing looking over my shoulder now. You know, there are times when I'm sure somebody is standing looking over my shoulder because I say and do things that beyond my reasonable intelligence. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was not in my notes, and the lady brought it out for her question, but I have thought about it a great many times, and I have noticed more so in recent years than ever that the things that I do which might be called brilliant and outstanding always are done by this man who's standing here looking over my shoulder, and always in the times of an emergency when I must make decisions, important decisions, I can almost feel that man telling me what decision to make. I can almost turn around and imagine he's standing there in person. There is an influence there. There's no two ways about it. I could not have, and this is as good a time as any for me to tell you this, I could never have done what has been done in connection with this philosophy if I had had nothing but the collaboration of those 500 or 600 men that helped me. That wouldn't have been enough. I've had more than that, believe you me. And the reason I haven't said anything about it before is I just don't want to get in the position of having people feel that I have been favored or if I have anything that anybody else can't have. My honest opinion is that I don't have anything that you can't have. I think that whatever source of inspiration I'm drawing upon, you can have that same source. It's just as available to you as it is to me. I believe that with all of my heart. And then the next one of these guides here, they're twins, the guides of hope and faith. Now, how far would you get in life if you didn't have that eternal burning flame of hope and faith working in your soul? There wouldn't be anything worth living for, would there? So you have to have a system for keeping your mind positive because there are things to destroy hope and faith, aren't there? Yeah. People, circumstances, things that you can't control even, that pop up in your life. And you've got to have a system to antidote those things and to offset them. Something that you can manipulate and draw upon. And I know of no better system than these 8 guides that I have adopted here because they work for me. I've taught them to a great many other people for whom they work just as well as for me. And then the next 2 are also twins, the guides of love and romance. I don't believe that anything worthwhile could be accomplished unless a man or a woman romanticize whatever you're doing. In other words, if you don't put some romance into whatever you're doing, you don't get any fun out of it. And certainly if there's no love in your heart, then you're not just quite a human being. The main difference between the lower animals and the human being is that the human being is capable of expressing the emotion of love. It's a wonderful thing. It's a great thing. It's a great builder of geniuses and of leaders. And it's a great builder and maintainer of sound health. To have had a great capacity to love has been to have the privilege of rubbing elbows with genius. There's no exception to that. It's absolutely true. And so the 2 guides, love and romance, in my life, their job is to keep me friendly with what I'm doing in life and to keep me young in body and mind. And they do just that, believe you me. Well, not only keep me young in body and mind, but they keep me enthusiastic, they keep me sold on what I'm doing, and they take the drudgery out of it. In other words, I don't have any such thing as hard work because I don't work at anything. I play at everything I do. And everything I do is a labor of love. I recognize, of course, that before you get in a position where you can economically forget about earning a living, there's something that you have to think about that maybe takes a little of the pleasure out of work. But if you watch yourself, you can develop a system that will Make everything that you do, even washing dishes or digging ditches or anything else, you can make it the labor of love for the time being. When I go home, I help Annie Lou wash the dishes. Not because she couldn't do it, but because I just want to feel that I'm not too good to help wash the dishes. And I get great joy out of doing it. And I'm not above working in the garden, because if I didn't do it, Annie Lou would do it when I'm gone, and they deprive me of the pleasure. Look at the nice tan that I brought back with me and all that good health. Oh, it's a great thing to learn to live the simple life, to learn to be a human being instead of a stiff shirt or something else that you don't want to be, nobody wants to be. Love and romance, learn to get that into your life and learn to have a system whereby that habit of love and romance will express itself in everything you do. Then this last one, the guide to overall wisdom. His job is he's the comptroller, or the comptroller of the other seven. His business is to keep them active, eternally engaged in your service, and also to adjust you to every circumstance of your life, pleasant or unpleasant, so that you benefit by that circumstance. I can truthfully tell you that nothing comes to my mill in life that isn't grist. I make grist out of everything that comes to my mill. And the more unpleasant things that come, the more grist I get out of them, because I doubly grind them to make sure they won't be anything else but grist. It's a wonderful thing to recognize, when you come to recognize that no experience in life is ever lost, whether it's good or bad. No experience is ever lost at all if you will make the right adaptation of yourself to it. You can always profit by every experience in life if you have a system for doing it. Of course, if you just let your emotions run wild and you go down under the dull thud under these unpleasant experiences, you'll attract more unpleasant experiences than you will pleasant ones. But you know, there's a peculiar thing about unpleasant circumstances. They're cowardly. And when you get to where you would say, come on over here, little fellow, I've got a set of harness right here, I'm going to put you to work. Somehow or another they find business around the corner, and they don't come your way so often when they know that you're going to put them to work. Have you ever thought of that? If you fear unpleasant circumstances, they'll crowd down on you in flocks. They'll come in the back door and the front door. They'll come in when you're not expecting, when you're unprepared to deal with them. I don't particularly invite unpleasant experiences, but if they are foolish enough to come my way, they'll find themselves ground up in my mill of life. I'll make grist out of them as sure as anything, but I will not go down under them. Eternal vigilance is the price that one must pay to maintain a positive mental attitude, because of these and other natural opposites of positive thinking. And here they are. First of all, your negative self constantly maneuvering for power over you. Did you know that there are entities working in your makeup all the time, constantly maneuvering to gain power over you on the negative side of life? And you have to be eternally on the alert to see that those entities don't take you over. And then your accumulated fears and your doubts and your self-imposed limitations, you have to deal with them constantly, lest they get the upper hand and lest they become the dominating influence in your mind. And then the negative influence is near you, including people who are negative, the people that you work with closest, the people that you live with, maybe some of your own relatives that are negative. And if you don't watch, you'll be just like they are, because you will respond in kind. It may be necessary for you to live in the same house with somebody who's negative, but it's not necessary for you to be negative just because you're in the house with somebody who is. I'll admit it'll be a little bit difficult for you to immunize yourself against that kind of an influence, but you can do it. I have done it. Mahatma Gandhi did it. Look what he did with immunizing himself against things he didn't want.